This is Robert with Pioneer Smokehouses, and today we're working with an American Gourmet offset smoker 1280 by Char-Broil. Basically, this is one of their largest models that they make, and it is a huge smoker. It is more of a base model, beginner-friendly type smoker. And today, we're gonna go ahead and get it seasoned up and ready for its first cook. So first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll open the smoker completely. You can see that we have everything all set up over there. We're not going to concern ourselves with that stuff at all during this cook. And what we're going to do is we're going to get a fire started here, and we just want to let it go kind of low and slow, about 275 for 2 hours. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a fire going. I've got myself some Kingsford charcoal briquettes here. I like to use Kingsford for their consistency. There is a lot of other good stuff, like for example, I like B&B charcoal briquettes, but they're a lot more expensive. And I like the consistency that I get out of the Kingsford. Now for the actual cooking and the long-term running of it, we will be using lump charcoal. I always like to do my actual cooking in an offset with lump and then throw in a little bit of pieces of wood just for a little bit of extra flavor. But today, we're just doing seasoning, so we need to get to our temperature and then we need to hold it for a couple of hours. I have right here 2 haystack lighters, and I'm gonna go ahead and put them in the side grill. I always like to keep a side grill right next to my smoker. That way, when I am using my smoker, I can pre-light some pieces of wood, and this is just really convenient. And I like to light all 4 corners when I go to do this. Normally at home, I just use 1 haystack, but because it's a bit windy here, I want to make sure that I get a good light on this. Check, make sure that this all looks even in there, and then we're just going to let that run for about 10 minutes and not mess with it at all. So we'll be right back. So I wanted to give you a little bit of an update. It's been about 10 minutes, but because of how windy it is, it's been a little bit of an issue to get it lit. So I ended up using a 3rd haystack lighter to get it going. And now it's looking really good. It needs a few more minutes. I'm gonna tilt that towards the camera there, and hopefully you can see inside there. It's got a good start, but it just hasn't had a chance to ride up a little bit. And because of that, and I wanted to reduce the wind a little bit, I went ahead and pulled it out of the side grill and put it over here just so that way we could get a little bit more control of the wind gusts. And also, it's going to go ahead and start heating the smoker. I'm going to go ahead and close the main chamber and see if I can get some of this smoke to actually run up in there just for the fun of it. Let's give that a try real fast. I do have the vent open all the way, and I always do that. I want to be careful not to burn the top here much. And let's just see if a little bit of it will come through there real quick. Oh, we got smoke through there almost instantly. That is a great sign. I'm going to go ahead and open the lid because I don't want to scorch the top right now. And once we get it going, we'll keep it really even, and that'll help us out. That'll be another second for you, probably about 5 minutes for me, because the fire is starting to come out of the top now. So I'll see you in a second. Oh, you're back. Well, I'm just over here trying to keep my hands warm, so I want to show you this really quick. This is an absolute perfect charcoal chimney. There's still a little bit of black around the top, but all the bottom is completely red. Now I'm just going to go ahead and dump this in there. And then I'll set the chimney over here, and let me grab my tongs real quick. I like to use a pair of old tongs. Now anything will work, brand new tongs or a fire tongs or whatever, and then I just position all this stuff. My goal is to build the charcoals up over here by the cooking box. Well, we want to be able to put that in there just like that and get the temperature that we want and add some of that yummy smoke flavor. So now we have this going. Now I'm going to grab a couple pieces of lump charcoal. I'm going to lean a little bit on the medium side and put one right there, and I kind of try to go like this. These cowboys are not quite as bulky as some of the other brands that I've used. Now, I don't know how well you can see in there with the close-up cam, but what I did was I tried to lay some pieces of lump charcoal on the top and spread them out just a little bit, and you can see that they got going really fast because basically they're right on a perfect bed of briquettes. Now, we don't want it to be really extremely hot in there, but we want it to get up to the temperature of 275 inside the cooking chamber, so that way we can season that chamber up. I have left the vents fully open, and I'm just gonna sit here and watch this and see if that temperature gets up. And if it doesn't, then I'll just add more fuel and go from there. Go ahead and take another break, maybe 10-15 minutes for me and 1 second for you. So it took a little bit more fuel than what I thought it would to get it up to temperature, but right now it's showing about 300 degrees in the cooking chamber. And I want to show you that I set up a couple of other thermometers. I put one right there in the chimney, and then I'll show you a picture of the other one that I put on the other side of the cooking chamber. And that's because I'm sure that I can get a real good idea of the temperature over here, but down there I want to know a little bit better. Now I'm going to show you a close-up here of the fire, and you can see that I added a little bit more lump charcoal to that, and then I threw 2 blocks of mesquite right on the top because I want to give it that extra hit of smoky flavor. And we're just going to let this run, and I'm going to go ahead and start backing down the air now. During cooking, I would really avoid doing this, but because this is seasoning, I want it to slow down a little bit and keep that temperature under 300 for the 2 hours to get the seasoning done. We're going to take a little break and we're going to let it run for a little while and see how stable I can keep the temperature. And if I can get it to stabilize, we might go ahead and throw a biscuit test on here real quick. So we're going right along. It is really cold outside, so it's been a little hard to maintain temperature, but we did get to 225 and I held that temperature for a while. Now I went ahead and threw in a couple of grill mats, and we're going to run the biscuit test. We're basically going to test the surface cooking temperature of the smoker. Now I would recommend that you cook on the top shelf, but for this test I'm going to go ahead and do it on the bottom rack, which, you know, a lot of people would cook on the bottom rack. If you're cooking anything large, you're going to have to cook there anyway. Go ahead and open this up. This container has 10 biscuits in it. I'm going to get over here and I'm going to throw them in as fast as I can. And there we go. Got them in there and closed. Now I'm going to open up the vents on the smoker and get it flowing a little bit faster. I want that temperature to pop right up there. Get back to 225. Now, again, the reason we do this test is because we just want to check the surface temperature all the way across and see if it's even. When you're doing things like ribs and stuff like that, you'll probably want to just cook them on the top because you'll get a more even, consistent temperature on a daily basis than you will down lower with a smoker like this, because there's gaps along the edges here that'll mess up your airflow. So let's go ahead and watch this. The test will be over when the first biscuit burns. I've been having a little bit of trouble keeping up the temperature, and it's consumed most of the fuel. I will be putting a little bit more fuel to complete the seasoning process, but we didn't get it quite as high of a temperature as I wanted to do a good biscuit test. I'm going to go ahead and open the lid here. I did notice that there is a little bit of a difference here in the temperatures. I'm going to go ahead and move to the other side, and that way we can get an idea from the close-up cam. We got some nice marks there, nice marks there. Little light there, little light, little light, 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 light. Pretty much all light across the board. I'm going to remove this one right here and sample it. I just want to see if it's actually done. It's just barely done, so I'm going to go ahead and cook them for another couple minutes because, well, it's a good day to eat a couple of biscuits. On a cold day, that's what you want to do. So I'm going to turn the camera off, and once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and reload the charcoal and get that temperature back up. So for you, that'll just be 1 second. It'll probably be another 5 minutes for me. So I'm back, and I was able to get the temperature up to a real good biscuit temperature. We're well above 350 here, and I want to go ahead and pull those off real quick. Now this is exactly what I expected to see. We got a little brown around the edges. I don't know how well you can see that in the camera, but this is perfect. Very, very even cooking temperature here, which I'm very pleased to see. Very, very happy with that. This one's a little lighter, but look at that. This one's also a little lighter. So what I'm seeing here is this zone right here is a little bit cooler than the rest, but everything else looks pretty even. And we have the tray down in here. So this tray could be moved over just a little bit to spread the temperature a little bit more evenly. I'm going to go ahead and leave those grill mats in here, and I'm going to set these in the house real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, so we're just about done seasoning the smoker, and we just need a little bit more time here to complete the seasoning. We got the temperatures that we wanted to see. Now what we want to do is we're gonna put this in there and leave it overnight. So I'm not gonna do a whole tray, but normally what I would do is I would fill this whole thing up and let it run all night long. And in the morning, it would be all done and would have my first layer of seasoning. The whole goal of this is to get a nice layer of seasoning, so that way when you put that first piece of meat, like whatever it is, whether it be a rack of ribs or a chuck roast in there, you get that first piece of meat in there, you want it to be smoky and yummy and have all the goodness as if that smoker was 20 years old. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get that started. And the way I'm going to do that today is I'm going to kind of minion it by stealing a chunk of charcoal out of here. Get one of these out of the bottom, nice and hot. Put that right in there. I'm going to get that going real quick. I don't even know if I need to blow on it. It's so windy out here, but I will. I'll leave that, and once it gets going, I'll pull that chunk of charcoal out. So I'm going to go ahead and set this in there, and that's going to wrap up this video. So basically the seasoning will be complete. It'll be ready to use. I think our first cook is going to be some chicken wings. I'll see you on the next video. If you saw anything you like in the video like this smoker, you will find the link below. And those are affiliate links, so if you use those, that will help support the channel. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.